Today we're starting our pepper seeds indoors and I'm going to show you how. First thing you're going to need is a seed starting tray, and I got this one on Amazon. It was just a super cheap one. It comes with a little water reservoir on the bottom, and it also comes with a humidity dome, so that helps a lot. Next thing we're going to need is a mixing bowl, some seed starting mix. This is just a Miracle-Gro brand. You can really use any kind of brand you want, but you definitely want some seed starting mix. I've made the mistake in the past of using kind of like a potting soil or a container mix or something like that, and what happens is when the seedlings start to come up, they hit chunks of bark or whatever it might be, and they kind of get stuck. So there's been a lot of times where I've had to pick bark out of the soil just to let the seedlings kind of work their way up through the soil. So you definitely want a good seed starting mix. You want some water. This right here is a seedling heat mat with a thermostat. You definitely want a thermostat on it. And last but not least, you're gonna need some pepper seeds. If you don't have all of that, don't freak out or anything. I'm gonna leave links for everything in the description below. If you don't wanna get a heating mat, you can also put your seeds up on top of the fridge or just somewhere really warm. Pepper seeds are gonna want 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit to germinate really successfully. You might get some germination if it's cooler than that, but really you want that 80 to 90 degree Fahrenheit range. You can also do this just in a red Solo cup or just whatever container you have laying around. I'm gonna be using these seed starting trays today because I wanna start a lot of seeds in a little small amount of space, and this is gonna work great for me. All right, let's get going. The first thing you want to do is get your seed starting mix and moisten it up really well. You don't want to get it too wet, but make sure it's a little bit damp. I've had an issue in the past where I didn't moisten my seed starting mix first, and what happened is when I went to put water in it, it just kind of sat on the top. It didn't really absorb into the soil very well. So you want to pre-moisten that first. Just put it in a bowl. You want to mix it around really well. And to test the moistness of your soil, if you just squeeze it really hard and you can get 1 or 2 drops to come out, that's perfect. That's right where you want to be. Next thing you want to do is fill up your seed starting tray. With this one, just fill them all up and then just kind of use your finger and press down the soil just a little bit. You don't want to put too much pressure, just a little bit. Press it down and then fill it up again, press it down. Just make sure that the soil isn't completely compressed, but not too fluffy either. You want to make sure there's a good amount of soil in there. So what I use, I've just got this permanent marker here with me. I'm going to press it down into the soil to create kind of little holes for the seeds to go in. You want them about 1/4 inch deep, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, nothing too deep. So just go through and press down where you're gonna want your seeds. I'm putting 2 just in case germination rate isn't as good as I want it to be. Normally I do pretty well with 2 seeds in a cell. So for me, I am doing 3 types of seeds today, and each row is gonna be 1 type of seed. When I go to label this, I'm just gonna write the name of the seed variety down each row. But either way, make sure you have a way of identifying what you're putting into each cell. So if you're putting different seeds in each cell, make sure you just write on top of that cell what it's going to be, or just name the row like I am here. Now let's put 1 seed into each hole. If another one falls in, it's not really a big deal. You might just have 2 seedlings coming out of the same hole, but you at least want 1 seed in every hole that you just made. Once you have all your seeds in your cells, go ahead and cover them up with the soil that's already available there inside each cell. Just cover them up, pat them down, and just make sure they're covered really nicely. Okay, so now I'm gonna put mine on a seedling mat, and what this is gonna do is it's gonna raise the temperature up to whatever the set point I put it to. I'm gonna be putting it to 80 degrees. So I'm gonna put it on the seedling mat, and then I'm gonna take my controller, and with most of these controllers, everyone that I've ever used, you want to hold the set button for about 3 seconds, and you'll see the display start to blink. Once that display starts to blink, it will tell you what the set point is at, and you can either push up or down to bring it to where you want. In this case, I'm gonna be pushing up. I'm gonna bring it up to 80 degrees, and then I'll push set again, and that's what's gonna tell the controller what the set point for the heat is that you want. So 80 degrees here, that's what I want. We've got our heat set. Let's go ahead and put our probe inside the soil. This seedling mat is going to come up to temperature. It's gonna heat this soil until the probe reads 80 degrees, and then it's gonna go ahead and shut off, and it's just gonna kind of manage that 80 degree range. That's gonna be the easiest way to get our seeds to germinate the quickest. Hey, real quick, I wanna give a shout out to Chris. He was the first person to give us a donation on our Buy Me a Coffee page, and I ended up emailing with Chris back and forth a little bit. We had an awesome conversation around open pollination and just awesome pepper stuff in general. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate your donation. It's gonna be going straight into the channel, and I'm so excited for it, so thank you. I really appreciate it. And hey, if you guys found this information useful today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because we'd really like to have you here. And if you want to learn more about growing peppers and using peppers and just all that fun stuff, check this video out.